what were you doing earlier today?
What was I doing? Just kind of like, just playing guitar. just doing music, really.
Nice.
I have a show coming up relatively soon next month, so I've been kind of like rehearsing a little bit.
Where are you playing at?
It's a place in Knoxville, actually. It's a place called Pilot Light.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's, I'm trying to think who I'm playing with. I mean, I should know, but yeah, it's coming up, I think, on the 28th. So I've just been kind of rehearsing for that. On top of the fact we're like doing a handful of covers.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been like preparing for that too. We've never done covers live before, so it's a kind of adjustment to like, you know,
Covers and Archie Blu?
Yeah. Yeah.
What covers are you doing?
We're doing a Jethro Tull cover.
Oh, wow.
If you know Jethro Tull. We're doing Aqualung, which is going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing Pet Cemetery by the Ramones, and there was another one. Oh, yeah, a Joy Division song. I'm bad with song names, but here, it's on my phone.
She's lost control.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's that one. Oh, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division.
Oh, yeah.
So, doing those three, and yeah, like 4 or 5 originals.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been prepping for that.
Nice. Yeah, I really like your single, Love Circle.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's
Playing that a lot.
oh sweet. Yeah, it's about the park here in Nashville.
Which park?
Love Circle is a park here in Nashville. It's kind of, I'm trying to think. It's like kind of near Centennial.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. You should check it out. It's like this. It's almost like this mountain that you go up on, and you can see the whole skyline of Nashville.
What?
Yeah.
I think I've been there.
Yeah.
Is it by Fort Negley?
Yes. That like rings a bell.
Huh.
Maybe.
Not.
It's very unassuming. You wouldn't think it's like a park. I'm not even sure if it's like a public park necessarily. But you just spin like up this hill, and you get there, and it's like this little plot of land, and you just like can overlook the entire skyline and like a lot of nature. It's really beautiful. And that's why I wrote a song about it, because me and my girlfriend, like, we used to like go there, like when we first started dating. It's kind of like a love song. So like when we first started dating, we used to go to Love Circle all the time. So yeah, I haven't been in like a year, but yeah, that place is awesome. Definitely check it out.
Okay.
If you haven't been there.
Go there now
Yeah,
that I
dude.
know what it's written about.
Yes.
And then I can go there and listen to it.
Yes. Yeah. I guess I should maybe do that too.
You got to.
Yeah. Actually, well, I did film a music video for Love Circle there, so I guess I was listening to it because I was filming it. But
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, been waiting on the film for that to come back for like 12 weeks now. So it's coming out a little later than when the song came out. It's almost been a year since that song's been out, but you know, just been having to wait.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Something for everyone to look forward to.
Yes. Yeah.
So what if it came out just a week later after you released the song? Then you wouldn't have
Yeah. I can't like recycle the hype, I guess, or
Yeah.
yeah. I guess there are positives of having a music video like way later. I guess, yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
re-engage the audience. But,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Nashville Artist. I'm Jordan, and today Archie Blu is here.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Welcome to
Yes.
my house.
Yes, it's amazing being here. You live in a very cool part of town.
Yeah, very fortunate. to be
Yeah.
here.
It took me a minute to like figure out where to park to, but then I saw there was a little alleyway just like in the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're like in this little nook.
Yeah. It's always funny to see people have to turn around.
Yes.
They're like, oh no.
I tried parking out front, but I was like, I don't know if this feels right. So I looked on like my maps and I saw there was like a little line, and I was like, oh, that must be a little alleyway. And then I had to like drive on some other street, and yeah, found it. But you
You
know,
triangulated your way here.
yes, yeah, it only took me like 5 minutes. There's only so many turns you can make. It's just like a little block, but yeah.
I commend you that you found it.
Thanks. Have you had struggles with that in the past, having people on the
Yeah,
podcast?
or I usually I tell them to park behind my house, but then, you know, they get here and they're like, where do I go? And then I go outside because they're usually out front, and I just kind of tell them where to go.
Yeah.
But sometimes you tell them behind my house, and then they'll like you just they'll be like I'm back.
Yeah, I get it too because when I lived off of Belmont Boulevard, like you can't really park on the street, especially the street I was on Gale Lane. So like anytime I had friends over, I just always was like park in the alleyway. So I'm familiar with the alleyways.
Yeah,
I figured this was an alleyway neighborhood.
It is. Oh man, and yeah, because we're in like a little cove here.
Yeah,
a little valley.
Yes.
Both the streets are up higher than right here.
Yes, it is like a little. Does it like ever like flood right here? Yeah, I was gonna say
our driveway. If the drain gets clogged at all. Oh my god!
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, what was
it?
Like 4 or 5 days ago, there was a lot of rain. I don't know if it was like at least where I was at, and our street flooded. So I can imagine. Like, did you have like bad flooding?
Yeah. I mean, so much like runoff from other streets and whatever will then basically become sediment in our driveway.
Yeah. And
then it'll eventually become sticks and leaves and bigger branches, and then it'll clog the drain. And then when that clogs, it just starts. Then it'll start coming. Through our door downstairs.
Oh, jeez.
So we have to be conscious of that drain.
Yeah. Oh, so you have to like manually go out there and like kind of clear it out,
shovel.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I get it. So I told you, me and my girlfriend live way out in the boonies, and like we live off this like gravel road, and it's like on a hill, and anytime it rains, the gravel will like split and create these like little like, I don't know what to call it, like little rivers of water. And like every time it has, I have like really bad rain, I have to get on like a tractor because there's a tractor on the property, and I have to like pave it with the little like bulldozer thing, the shovel. I'm so bad at like what all these things are called because I'm kind of like a city person. But I have to like repave the gravel driveway anytime it rains really hard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I also have rain issues.
You got to pad it flat.
Yes, yeah. Because driving up that street or that road or driveway is just like pain in the butt if it's not flat.
I can imagine you'll slide.
You'll slide, yep. Yeah, it's not fun, but there are perks of living out there too.
Oh yeah, I mean it's kind of a fun problem to have.
Yeah,
it's torrential rain and you're knee deep in water or ankle. And you're out there, it's like you against nature, and it's fun. It's like, this is an inconvenience, but at least it's not a person. It's just like me against nature.
Yeah, it's almost like a primitive thing. It's like
it's like I should have prepared for my fort better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funny.
Cool. So where are you from?
So I originally, that's like a tricky question because I moved a lot, but I was born in Florida, only lived there for like a year. Then I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I lived there till I was 6, just right before kindergarten age. Was that 5, maybe? 5. And then I grew up mostly in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I went to kindergarten through 10th grade there. So about 11 years, something like that. Then I moved to Chattanooga, or more specifically Harrison, Tennessee, and finished up high school there my junior and senior year. And then I moved here in 2015. So,
wow. Where'd you go to school in Raleigh?
It's a school called Wakefield Elementary, Middle, and High.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have cousins from Raleigh.
Oh, really?
They went to St. David's.
St. David's.
Or some private school there.
Yeah. I'm sure I would know. It's just been so long.
A connection to like
Raleigh, yeah. Raleigh was a cool place. It was, like a relatively large city-ish, like a little smaller than Nashville, I would say. But there wasn't much like of a music scene there. I mean, there kind of was. Like, there was a bit of like a metal scene. A lot of my friends were into metal. That's why I also like play heavy metal music as well. But moved to Chattanooga. I dug it for sure, but I was really ready to like move on to like a bigger city, that's like kind of based in music. So I looked at LA and I looked at New York and I looked at Nashville, and I was like, well, LA's too expensive, New York's too expensive, Nashville's cheap, but this was 2015. So back then I was like, Nashville's so cheap. So moved here.
Comparatively, it still is.
It really is still. Okay. Yeah, it's really not terrible
here.
Yeah, and to my surprise, like Nashville is like so much more of a booming music scene than I could have ever imagined. Like, because my perception of Nashville when I was living in Chattanooga was like, oh, that's country music, you know, that's the place where you go to play country music, and there's a lot of studios and stuff, but I wasn't so aware of like the diversity in music here. It's like so many little genre, like, you know, little subcultures here. It's really
pockets.
Yeah, so many pockets. It's awesome. Yeah.
And everyone that's in those different pockets is really into that music or genre.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, this is what matters most to them in life. It's like, this is this.
Yeah. Definitely.
And you like, even if you don't like the music, you're like, you see the passion.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Man, these people live and breathe it right on.
Yeah. But, so you went to Macaulay, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Udawa, which was a fun school, I would say. It was a little outside of, you know, downtown Chattanooga and like Chattanooga proper. But I remember I would always like, with my friends, we would like drive down to downtown Chattanooga, and just walk on like the pedestrian bridge. And I remember like going to like Riverbend. Oh gosh, yeah, like underage at Riverbend.
All the young people would hang out on the right
ledge
side. Yeah, the ledge area where it goes down to the stage.
Yep.
That was like the young zone.
Yeah. And I feel like every time there was Riverbend, I somehow didn't have a ticket, but we still always somehow like went there. I think there was like a hangout spot there, like before you got to the stages or something. It's been almost a decade.
Where you pass your button back.
Yes, yeah. It was,
you do, go in, and then someone takes off theirs, and then that person goes out, gives it to them.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that process. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Jeez.
I remember I made one out of a styrofoam cup.
Really?
I was like working. And I can't remember what band I wanted to see, but I was like, I gotta go to Riverbend tonight. And I remember someone had their own button, and it was at work, and it was white.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I cut up a styrofoam cup at work, and then drew on it with permanent markers.
Nice.
And then wore it, and then when I walked in, and they were like older ladies.
Yeah.
And from afar.
Oh yeah, no one's gonna know.
Yeah, so it worked.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Riverbend, yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah. I guess it's still going on. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's much smaller now. There's only 3 days. It's like, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday now.
It was like a whole week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a whole week.
It was like 10 days.
10 days,
like
wow.
A Sunday or, to...
Yeah.
Yeah, the following, whatever, Friday.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was so wild. Man, yeah, downtown Chattanooga is fun. It's a wild place.
Man, in high school, we would always hang out at like Cold Stone parking lot or like...
Okay.
Or Provident.
Oh, Cold Stone, yeah.
Or Provident parking lot.
Sure.
And then eventually those got like...
Yeah.
You had to pay or they had security.
Sure, yeah.
Couldn't hang out there anymore.
Oh, yeah. Me and my friends, like I said, the pedestrian walking bridge, and then like Coolidge Park. We would park on that street where Coolidge Park was. Blanking on the street name, but there was always like street parking on that side of town. We'd go to Coolidge Park, walk across the bridge, and then we would just go walk towards like the aquarium and just, you know, we were kids, we were like underage, so we couldn't like go out drinking or anything. Just walk around downtown.
Right.
Yeah, because when you're in like, you know, Harrison, Tennessee, it's like, wow, I'm in a city.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Just like people watching and stuff.
There's people here.
Yeah, whoa.
You could, you know, find a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that was partially on my mind.
Motivation for a lot of people to go downtown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me, or like a year and a half. And yeah, he doesn't do music. No one in my family actually does music, so I'm kind of a black sheep in that way.
So it's just you and one other brother?
Yep.
So 2 brothers?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What is your brother into?
He was really into golf. He actually went to Baylor for golf.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he's still to this day.
What's his name?
Danny Gleason.
And you're Pat Gleason?
Yeah, Patrick Gleason. Pat Gleason, yep. yeah, he still to this day, he's like working in the golf industry. I think he's like doing something with like something to do with like making the clubs or something. I don't know.
Wow,
I don't know.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Engineering and like.
I guess so. Yeah. This
one will swing faster.
Yeah. Like golf is such a different language to me that I'm like, I think that's what he does. I mean, and you know, he used to be like a club pro too, so he was really good at it. He was definitely more into the sports, and I was more into the music.
Right.
Yeah. But we both like kind of liked both in a way. Like I was really into playing tennis, so that was kind of like my one sport outlet, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do your parents do?
So my dad, he works in like it's like super corporate. He works in finances and like environmental waste companies. Like, but right now he's like retired. Yeah, he's done. And then my mom was just stay-at-home mom and full-time mom. She plays a lot of tennis. That's actually how I got into playing tennis, was from her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does she still play?
Yeah, she still does, yeah. Wow. It's kind of like a lifetime sport, you know. You can just keep playing it. It's pretty low maintenance. It's not like football or anything, you know.
Yeah. And it doesn't require a whole lot of people.
Yes.
It's like you and one other person.
Yeah, one other person.
Or you by yourself.
Yeah, you can hit against the wall. I always tell people like tennis is definitely a sport that like you can pick up at any time, because I mean, you know, like everyone loves ping pong, you know, it's just a life-size ping pong.
That's true.
And you just grab a racket and you whack balls, and it's just so fun. And it's actually a sport where you can kind of like pick up pretty quickly.
Okay.
It's not like super technical,
Nice.
You know.
I'll have to give tennis a shot.
Yeah.
I think I've only played it like once or twice in my life.
Yeah. It's fun.
My hand-eye coordination isn't the greatest.
Okay.
I'm more like, I was a rock climber, so I would just climb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a lot of people in chat
Yeah,
did that. Yeah.
I grew up on a mountain.
Yeah, sure.
Had boulders the size of this house at the bottom of my street.
Jeez. Yeah. I remember, God, there was this one place in Chattanooga I saw a lot of rock climbers, like Sunset Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to go there all the time to see the climbers.
It was like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a really cool part of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to just like drive up there, just
and then just walk down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little zigzag.
Yeah, a little zigzag. Yeah, it was a cool little walking path too.
Yeah. And it is fun to watch the climbers just.
Yeah, I was always memorized, like just always like in shock by like how they can do that, because it's a full body thing. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that looks intense.
Yeah. It is, and then you're up high. And
yeah,
then you fall and you swing. There's a lot of stuff involved.
Yeah, it's
you against yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely like a mind game. I did, you know, like as a kid I would go to like rock climbing gyms and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I was never really great at it. I think that I just didn't have like the finger strength. There's some sort of like muscle that's required.
The forearm.
Yeah, it's like I guess the forearm strength.
Yeah.
I just didn't really have that ability, so I never really grabbed onto it.
Nice.
No pun intended.
So what were you into as a kid?
Just playing guitar. Really, yeah, playing guitar. I was really like kind of a split personality kid, because I was really into like metal music and just like, I just want to learn how to like shred. Like I would listen to like Megadeth and like hear like Marty Freeman do like shred solos. I'm like, I need to learn how to do that. But at the same time, I was listening to a lot of like Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes, Franz Ferdinand, like a lot of that like post-punk revival music that was really big in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So I kind of was into like alt rock and indie and like metal all at the same time. So that just kept me really busy. I was just playing guitar all constantly. And what really helped me, I think, was my junior year when I did move to Chattanooga. I didn't really have any friends the summer that I moved there. So it was just me and my guitar. And that's basically like all I did.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start playing guitar?
I was, let's see, right around my 14th birthday.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Who were like your heroes at the time where you're like, man, they're badass, I want to be like that?
Oh, It would probably be like, yeah, like the thrash metal bands like Megadeth and stuff like that. Pantera for sure. Man, just like, yeah, just like, you know, like the metal bands of the time, like Slipknot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, I just wanted to like have a guitar and like turn the gain up all the way and just hear distortion. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much that's it.
And you also sing.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, I always like was a singing hobbyist. Like, I'd sing in my car. Like, I feel like everyone kind of sings in a way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the pandemic, during like the early days of the shutdown, where I kind of created the Archie Blu project, where I wrote these instrumentals, and I was like, maybe I'll like get like one of my friends to sing on it. But then I was like, I had like a light bulb moment where I was like, maybe I'll just sing on it. And then the songs turned out pretty okay, and then I kind of gained confidence to like put out videos of me singing on Instagram, and then next thing you know, like starting show offers. So I haven't been singing in a band or like had like a singing project for very long. I've always been kind of like guitar player projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lead mostly.
Yeah, lead and rhythm or just whatever was like necessary. I used to do like a lot of hired gun kind of guitar playing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
When was your first band?
Oh, geez. My very first band. Funny enough, my very first band, but it's not really even a band, is the first year I started playing guitar. My neighbor, his name was David, he just like came up to me one day and he's like, we're going to start a band and you're going to play guitar and I'm going to play bass. I'm like, okay, I don't play guitar and you don't play bass. What are you talking about? It's like, well, my brother has a bass and a guitar and we can just borrow his instruments and we can just like record some stuff. I'm like, okay. And I remember we would lay the instruments on the floor and we would use our thumbs to play like on the fretboards because we didn't know what we were doing. We were like 13 or something. And we gave it a name, and the name was Salt Free Spice Mamas. That's the band name, yeah.
It makes me think like funky with...
It was definitely avant-garde funk for sure, because it didn't make much sense, I'm sure. If I would hear the recordings again, they were probably like, oh my god.
Who played drums? Did you have someone?
Oh, I think we probably just like, were hitting tables and stuff. Who knows?
Wow.
Yeah, but that wasn't really like a real band. I guess my first band was in 10th grade. And it was like a metal band. I'm trying to remember what the band was called. It was so cringy. It was like Standing Before Us or something. It's like a metalcore band.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we did like a record. And then, yeah, I didn't really even like play shows until I moved to Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So had a lot of like little mini projects. But when I moved to Nashville, like things got a little bit more serious for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had other bands and stuff before you started Archie Blu here in Nashville?
Yeah. Like another band that I'm still in. We're sort of on a hiatus, but a band called Color Motive, which is kind of like a prog rock, prog metal kind of band.
I was listening to it a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah? Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And then before that band, I was in a band called Pay Vacation, which was like kind of like indie pop. And then their singer went on American Idol and then kind of started doing like solo music because it just made sense. Like,
Right.
So after that I was like, oh, I want to like get back into doing metal. So I did Color Motive. And then I was doing Color Motive and I was like, oh, I want to get back into doing like indie rock. So now I have Archie Blu.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's great that you were able to make both of those happen.
Yeah.
Cool. Now what kind of guitarist would you say you are?
Guitarist I am?
Yeah. I mean, you were saying metal and indie pop.
Yeah, I mean, I think it like changes every year. Like I feel like as musicians we're like students still. It's good to have like that student mentality, even though like you've been playing for a while. So I'll learn a little bit of jazz or a little bit of country and then just kind of like merge all the genres, that of the world and try to like come up with sort of the things that I'm into. But I would say I'm definitely like kind of like jazz leaning like in terms of like the melodies I create and like the harmonies and the chords I do. But yeah, I just try to be well-rounded. Yeah.
What is your like practice like?
It's usually just learning a song, or like, you know, I have like warm-up techniques or like warm-up pieces that I'll play. Like,
Do you read music?
Yeah, I know like every good boy deserves fudge and bass. You know, I know how like to read. I don't know how to sight read at all, but I can. If I had sheet music in front of me, I suppose I could like decipher it. It would just take me a while.
Okay.
I mostly learned on like guitar tablatures, stuff like that. Yeah.
You're more of like auditory learner?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, more so like I feel like I can just like hear something, and if it's easy enough, I can just learn it off of ear, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do you get inspiration now?
I mean, just from life. I don't know. Sometimes like you'll feel inspired to write lyrics about like a moment or something, or sometimes I'll hear something on, you know, my Spotify. Maybe it's like shuffling or whatever, and I'll hear like a chord even. I'll be like, what is that chord? And like I'll grab my guitar later that day and like try to figure out what I heard. And then I would sit with the guitar for a while, and the next thing you know, maybe I have a song, or I you know, am like onto something. Because anytime I pick up the guitar, I'm constantly in the state of mind of like, I could be writing right now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So inspiration comes from like listening to something, or
yeah, listening to something, or just life moments, I guess. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
What motivates you to create?
Well, it's just kind of entertaining for me. I just enjoy playing music, so that's just kind of motivation in itself. And you know, I really enjoy the reward of like writing something and then getting to play it live, you know, because I love playing shows.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Oh yeah.
It's just so much fun. You're just in this like fun environment. Yeah, it's loud, fun environment. You're like you can yell. You can yell. Yeah, it's like have some drinks with your friends, watch other bands play. You know, I love playing shows. So like that's sort of the reward.
Where's your favorite place to play in Nashville?
I really like the East Room.
Oh yeah.
Just the stage is nice. The sound is always nice. It's spacious.
There's a balcony.
Yeah. And I always like enjoy watching shows there too.
Yeah.
Not even playing, but just like going there. It's a great
And you
venue.
can kind of get a full scope. If you walk over to the side, you can see the band.
Yes. That's also very cool.
It's the one venue where you can like go behind the band.
I know. Yeah. That's very cool. And then they have that little like, you know, backyard area.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. Yeah, I love that venue. Is that your favorite as well, or do you have a favorite?
Probably the 5 spot.
5 spot? Yeah, 5 spot's awesome.
I really like playing there, and when you're playing there, it's like the room is built so that you walk in and you kind of see the center point of the whole room, which is the stage.
Sure.
So it kind of propels everyone to kind of like pay attention to you. You know?
Yeah.
Which I like, you know, some venues people can be partying over here or whatever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Makes everyone engaged, and it's small enough to where everyone can hear it. You
know? Yeah, it's super intimate for sure. It's a good part of town too. I feel like anytime I hear of a show, 5 spot, I'm always stoked to go.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've gone to one, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah,
stunning my growth.
I know.
Going there.
Yeah, everything has been slowing down. It's sort of sad, but I think shows are picking back up though.
Definitely. Spring and summer is here.
Oh, yes. We're all ready. The winter is gone.
Man, it's going to be time to go down to Chattanooga and go to some blue holes.
The blue holes?
You know what those are?
No.
Pools of water in the woods.
Oh, right, yeah.
The people swim in.
Oh, I
lay on rocks.
I
lay out like a salamander.
Oh, nice. Yeah. See, I was out in like Harrison, so I don't know. Like maybe I don't know those spots.
There's some spots out in Harrison, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Harrison Bay. had, well, there was like the what's it, Tennessee River or whatever.
Right.
It was like right.
There's the rock quarry.
Yeah.
Too. I swam there before.
Yeah. That's a cool little spot.
There's a spot where in the middle when you get down to the water.
Yeah.
Where there's like a ledge you can climb up and sit at.
Yeah.
I'll have to go swim over there and do that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see this insanely huge fish. Have you ever seen the carp or whatever it is?
No.
It leaves like a shadow in the water. It's massive.
Wow.
It's like, am I gonna get gummed to death? You know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's like this big of a fish.
Yeah.
And it's like in that rock quarry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like afraid to swim in lakes now because like I've seen pictures of like catfish. Like some catfish can be like, the size of like a great white.
Jeez.
Like, it's insane.
Imagine what their needle things would do to you.
I know.
If they're that big. Does
I
that
know.
mean they're more powerful?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah. Can you get eaten alive in a freshwater?
Are creatures going to just start getting massive?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe.
Giant water snakes and stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah. Jeez.
Okay, cool. So, what are some of your favorite bands and artists? You even like the Strokes?
Yeah, like growing up, definitely like that kind of post-punk stuff. I'd say these days, I've been listening to a lot of like the Smiths and a lot of like contemporary music too. I think these days in the days of like Spotify, I'll like create playlists and I just like certain songs from certain artists. But like in terms of like bands that I can listen through their whole discography, it would probably be, like I said, the Smiths, Jethro Tull. Been really into them recently, and I've been like really getting into the Beatles this year because I kind of like missed out on all that.
Yeah.
But been listening to a lot of them as well, just like front to back, their albums.
Nice. Do you watch a lot of their interviews or YouTube videos?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love watching artist interviews.
Nice.
Kind of get to know the artist.
Who's one of your favorite interviews you've watched?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. I think any interview that John Lennon did was very interesting. Like he's kind of
controversial.
Yeah, he was very quirky for sure.
He's like,
and he had that nasally voice, which you can hear in his singing voice, but like he talks just like his singing. It was like almost shocking the first time I heard him. It's very much like a tenor kind of voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to watch more John Lennon interviews.
Yeah, it's cool too because they're all super old school, obviously.
Right.
Like
60s,
60s, 70s. Yeah.
They're like, we smoke weed, and everyone's like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
You do acid? Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, the interview style back then was very rigid.
Yeah, very rigid.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
It's like,
box you in almost.
Yeah, they would almost try to make you seem like a bad person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're kind of a renegade, and we want you to know that. And the audience to know that.
Yeah. Gosh.
Damn. Okay, cool. What would you say your music represents?
I just think like fun, upbeat energy, really. Like I think for the most part, like my songs are pretty like upbeat. I have like some like songs in the minor key, but the songs were kind of like written in a sense to fill the air with like kind of good energy and good vibes at like a show. Like I very much like wrote the music for Archie Blu with the intention of like how's this going to sound at a show. It's just kind of like lighten people's moods, sort of the opposite of metal,
right.
Which I've done in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, Archie Blu definitely has kind of a summer afternoon picnic feel to it.
Yeah, that's definitely the intention, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mac DeMarco, a little bit like Ariel Pink.
Yes, Ariel Pink's a huge
and
info.
then somewhat Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
Lo-fi.
Yeah, the lo-fi like 2010 era indie for sure. I definitely get that comparison a lot, which makes sense because I listened to a lot of Mac DeMarco back then, still do, a lot of Ariel Pink. Like, still to this day, his music is really interesting, like very lo-fi.
Very lo-fi.
Which I like.
Yeah. Like I remember when Mortal Orchestra came out with their album in 2011.
Yeah.
And Little Blue House was on there.
Sure. I need to get more into his music.
Yeah.
Or is it a band or is it solo artist?
It's a band.
It's a band.
I saw them. I think it's a band. I saw them open for Grizzly Bear at the Ryman once. And it was good, but it was like lo-fi.
Yeah.
They have that kind of vibe, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that's now a corner now.
Mm-hmm. I think also lo-fi is awesome because it's so achievable.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, the whole nature of lo-fi music is that it's, like, very DIY at home, and you don't have to go to, like, Blackbird or, like, some huge studio.
Right.
So I think that...
It's rebellious in a way.
It is, yeah. And I think it's just the outcome of recording music at home. Like, I don't even think I really had the intention of, like, making my music lo-fi, but it's just because, you know, I'm not, like, a world-renowned producer or anything, you know. I'm just I just record at home, so it turns out to kind of have that like lo-fi indie, lo-fi rock.
It feels
vibe.
familiar and I feel like it resonates more.
Yeah,
it's easier to like great
it's
show.
It's kind of approachable, yeah, for sure. It's like I could, it almost like inspires you to be like, I can do this because it's, you know, you can almost hear the Logic drums in some of these songs. Yeah, it's like, oh, you use Logic, I could tell.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, I do too, so.
It's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. So how do you want to be remembered by your art?
Oh, that's a good question. Dude, you're coming out with the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, should I lighten the mood?
No. I just want people to feel how I felt when I wrote the music, and I think I just want to be remembered as someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously, someone who just like likes to put on a show and just play music for the people. I don't know, that's a good question. I've never really like pondered that thought before, but
it kind of puts you at the end of your life.
Yeah, it does. I just want people to listen to the tunes and like get something from it, or you know, if they don't, that's fine. That's the cool thing about music, is like, you know, some people will like your music, some people just won't. It won't be their vibe. So for people who do like my style of music, I hope it gives them some sort of like pulls on some sort of emotion for them, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Be remembered, because you're not always remembered for what you say, but you're always remembered for how you made someone feel.
Yes. Yeah.
The emotional connection.
Yeah, I want people to have like emotional connection.
People don't always
That'd be
remember
cool.
the words, but yeah, how you made them feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's
the vibe.
Good. The good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in Nashville since 2015.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, February of 2015.
Wow, 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. It's crazy.
What would you say you've learned living here?
Well, I've learned that, you know, like being in like Harrison and Chattanooga, you almost have this like perception. It's like, oh man, I'm like such a good guitar player. I'm so freaking good. Then you move to Nashville, and then it's like, whoa, everyone's way better than me. Like, you know, moving to Nashville, like really, it's kind of like it was a wake up call of like, wow, like everyone here takes music very seriously. So like, if you want to take music very seriously, you're surrounded by people who also do. So that's definitely something I learned coming here. It's like, you know, it's a discipline, and people here are very disciplined with their music.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, coming from Chattanooga as well.
Yeah.
You get humbled coming.
Yes, you get very humbled.
You get your ass humbled.
Yes, big time. Big time.
Even if you don't have a big head, even if you thought you were good at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Good gets redefined as soon as you move here.
Yes.
And then you have to have that talk with yourself, am I really serious?
Yeah. Like, am I,
Because these people show it day and night.
Oh, yeah.
Different levels. I mean, you interact with people even when they're not playing music, you can feel the seriousness of their art.
Yes.
kind of exuding from their...
Yeah, and you know, you can either... Yeah, exactly. You can either be intimidated by that or inspired by that.
Yeah.
And I always been inspired. When I get to listen to, you know, hear someone talk about their art, I'm just like all ears. I'm like, let me learn something from this conversation.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, here I tell people that don't play music, I'm like, even if you move here, you'll become a better musician just having been exposed by what you get exposed to.
Yeah.
Not only the attitudes of everyone you talk to, but
yeah,
chances are if you go out at all, you'll hear live music. And then those musicians are all really fought hard to get to that spot.
Yes.
So they're all well rehearsed, and so you listen to that, and it's just like, immediately know.
Yeah.
You have the ear, you have a better ear.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I feel like even the music that I'm into now has like grown so much just living here and just my experiences. Like I initially moved here to go to recording school at Dark Horse Institute. And after I graduated, I interned there at the recording studio for a year. I remember when I moved here, I was like, I hate country, I hate bluegrass, like all that stuff. And then I started interning and I would see these session players, these country session players, they would like shred their like, you know, mandolin. I'm like, whoa, you know, everyone here is like on top of it, you know?
Right.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is, yeah.
You have to like remind yourself, like even when you feel like you're becoming more or less equal to them, or you gotta keep fighting.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta always act as if you're in second place, fighting for first.
Yeah, definitely.
It's no one's a slow-moving target out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Crowds are critical. Everyone's and it just makes for everyone being aesthetically more. I was talking to Grace in the last podcast.
Yeah.
How a lot of their subjects, especially for photographers, are musicians and bands.
Sure.
So it's like all these other arts are involved with music.
Oh, it's a very music-centric town for sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's like, what else are they going to, take pictures of nature, take pictures of the city, friends, family, weddings.
Yeah.
But we do have a plethora of is bands and musicians.
Yeah, that are in need of photography and art, you know, album art.
Exactly.
You know, all sorts of stuff.
Graphic design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you'd say what brought you here was music, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay.
Yeah. Technically, what brought me here was the audio engineering school, but you know, the big target was, you know, playing shows and doing music for sure.
What was like you spoke a little bit about learning as soon as you moved, but what was your beginnings of Nashville like?
Oh, it was fun. So I actually, when I first moved here, I lived in Franklin because that's where the school was.
Oh yeah.
I ended up living down there pretty much like on and off because I always had like friends down there for like 3 years. And my experiences when I think of early Nashville were definitely like South Nashville and like Franklin, and going to the audio engineering school and interning there, and just metal tours too. Like I pretty much right when I moved here after I graduated, went on a very extensive tour in a metal band called Straight Line Stitch, and I was out for like 3 months on the road. So a lot of touring in my early days of Nashville, just as like a hired gun.
Wow, how was that?
Dude, it was crazy. Yeah, just like, you know, touring in the van, sleeping in Walmart parking lots, and like I said, the first tour I've ever been on, which is so bonkers that I did this.
3 months?
3 months from May till August.
Damn.
And I didn't even know it was going to be for 3 months. We were in St. Louis, I think, and like, I thought it was going to be 1 month long. And then the other guitar player comes to me, he's like, hey, by the way, so like we got extension, we're actually technically doing 3 tours back to back to back. And would you be down to like also like continue past the first month and like just stay out on the road with us? And I was like, sure. But yeah, and then for a little bit, like the early years of Nashville for me, I was really in that kind of circle, in that realm of like, I was a hired gun kind of guitar player for metal bands that like needed it. So I would on and off go on the road for those kind of bands. And then when I was at home, I would like gig with like, you know, just like pop artists and stuff like that, local pop artists.
Okay.
So a lot of gigging for sure, early years.
As a freelancer, basically.
Yeah, freelance, just
Didn't
musician.
have, like, your own group.
Yeah, I did not have my own group. Yeah, just kind of played in bands, and that's kind of what I wanted anyway. At first, I was like, I just want to play shows.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome. 3 months. How many shows was that?
oh my gosh, I don't know. That's
Like,
a great
A
question.
show every other day?
I mean, it was like, it would be like 4 shows in a row and an off day. And then there would be like 5 shows in a row and like 2 off days. So it was kind of like all over the place, but it was pretty consistent, like show after show after show. And then you'd have like basically like a weekend off, or sometimes it would be like a week off or something like that. But we would be somewhere out in the country, you know, out in the middle of the country. So like, I can't just go back to Nashville for like that 1 week, you know? It's like, but yeah.
What did you learn on that tour?
Oh my gosh. Just so much. I feel like I grew so much in that just first tour. And it's just crazy that they brought me on. I was 21 at the time. It's this like young kid who wasn't very experienced, and just, I got to see the country, and I got to see like a lot of touring bands and how serious and like, you know, how serious like everyone takes their art, you know, out on the road, and got to learn just what you do at shows, you know, like unloading a trailer and like putting the cases in a certain spot, and just learning the flow of like, it's sound check now, and, you know, kind of learning how shows work, you know, and what to expect from like playing a show.
And like, I bet you learned a lot about what to do in the downtime.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you'd be lucky and you'd be in like a cool city, like you'd be like in Los Angeles or something. So like, oh, there's plenty of places to like walk to or whatever, and like, oh, let's go get coffee, or, you know, and like, oh, make sure you come back before, you know, come back an hour before you go on stage. But sometimes, you know, you would be like in like, you know, like Oklahoma or some place that's like, you know, kind of small town, and you just go like hang out in the van or in the green room if there was one.
What would you do there?
Just mostly just be on my phone, or just like be practicing guitar.
Okay.
Or that's a good question, really. I mean,
Read.
weed?
Read.
Oh, read? Yes. Sometimes I'm not much of a reader, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read like a couple like self-help books throughout like touring and stuff. There was one that was really good. Gosh, I'm gonna blank on it, but it was something like the 4
Agreements.
Yes, I think so.
But I have that book on the shelf.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that.
It's
thick.
so thin.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I
Yeah.
read it in like a setting.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
It's a
read
really
it.
good book.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can read it in like, one
Don't
sitting.
take things personally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the other 3.
Me either. That's why, like, I can't even think of the title. I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's
remember, don't take things personally. I'm like, all right.
Yes.
Okay, I'll run with that.
Yeah. Same. Definitely ran with that.
I had to learn that too, moving to Nashville.
Exactly.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
So much attention
Yeah.
being asked for. Like,
Yes.
it's like you can't expect everyone to come to your shows, or like,
Oh, definitely not.
I don't
No.
know. Like, it's almost like you can't measure someone else's support of you until like they, I don't know, get really close to you or something like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like everyone's basically at arm's length.
Yeah.
On musician or like,
Sure.
I mean,
Even like close friends, sometimes I'm like, you guys don't have to come. Like, it's fine. Sometimes it's like, for me, the art of just playing a show is fun enough. Like, I don't care if it's in front of 0 people or 100 people or 1,000
the band's
people.
together. We get to jam.
Yeah, we get to jam.
Yeah.
There's some guy at the bar drinking, like looking over, like, nice. And that's enough for me, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah.
nice because I'm like, God, no one's here. We
Yeah.
can play. There's no pressure. We'll learn. We get the stage presence.
That's also a good thing if you play a show where like no one's there. It's like, oh, like I'm kind of practicing right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, we
Test
get some
shit
like,
out.
Yeah, test shit out, and like there's like we got drink tickets, so like, you know, it's kind of just a fun rehearsal. In
Exactly.
a way, you know?
In a big room.
In the big room, yeah. At least the bar.
bass drums mic'd.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a fancy rehearsal.
Yeah. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. What is some advice you would give to someone who's going to move here and do art, music, whatever?
Yeah, I would just say, well, don't take things personally is a good one, and just go in to everything with just the attitude of like, I'm gonna have fun doing this, and you know, I would say definitely surround yourself with like people that want the same thing too. You know, there's some people in Nashville even that like just do music, you know, like as a hobby or casually, and it's like if you want to really like make it a thing you do as like a full-time thing, just make sure you're surrounded by people that also have that like urge and that fight. Encouragement, and just having people around you that are on the same journey. Yeah. So just finding those people.
Everyone's kind of a master of their own realm here.
Definitely.
They have their own niche just by virtue of being an individual.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, that's why bands are great too. Sometimes it's like, yeah, you get to like do it with a group of people, and like you can kind of like rely on each other to kind of follow through with the mission in a way. It's kind of nice,
like a mission.
But yeah, it is a mission, and but then there's like pros and cons to it too, because it's like as a solo artist you can also just like be like, all right, I'm playing the show, or like, you know, you kind of have like 100% vote in a lot of ways.
There's no bureaucratic stuff.
There's no bureaucratic.
You're like the only person I have to answer to.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you dig a song and you want to put it out, you just put it out. And you don't have to, like, I guess, ask the whole band. But then, like I said, there are other parts of being in a band that's nice, you know? Like splitting costs for, I don't know, like if you needed to get a trailer. Or something.
Or driving. The more of y'all, the less you'll have to drive.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Assuming everyone takes turns.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Other things, too, pitching in, for merch,
just anything, just any sort of like logistic thing, you know, like
you become like a financial. We'll throw a pool or money.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, it's like I remember with Color Motive, we have an EP coming out in May, and we decided to go in the more traditional route where we like went to a recording studio and we hired a producer, and it was like, oh man, it's like thousands of dollars, but if you split it like between like 4 people, it's like a couple $100.
Right.
You know, it's like a few $100.
Things become more feasible.
Yeah. So like, I think like if you're coming to Nashville for the first time and you're, you know, bass player, drummer, guitar player, singer, get together with like a band and like, you know, maybe at the same time, like if you have the urge to do solo music, do that too, and just kind of have your hands in many pockets, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, either. You just kind of want to flow kind of around here in Nashville.
Yeah. And make sure you have a job.
Yes, that too. Yeah, it's, you know, getting more expensive here too, you know, so like make sure you can afford to.
Right. You gotta really tap into your purpose.
Yes.
So it's gonna cost you some money. And if your purpose is stronger than that, the money won't even matter.
Yes. Yeah.
But you do have to make sure that that's the case.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're putting your money into something that you really believe in.
Yeah. You want to be able to send your problems.
Yes.
Like, I need $500 more. Figure out how to get $500 more.
Yeah. Mission. Find $500.
Yeah. It's down to the wire.
Yeah. I got 2 weeks, $500. Go.
Yeah.
It's like a video game.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And there's many options to get there, many ways.
Yeah. Totally.
Here, you definitely have to be resourceful.
Definitely.
Well, was there anything else you'd like to add that I might not have asked you?
Not really. Yeah, I think you covered it. You asked great questions. So.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to make sure I ask questions that are open-ended enough to like speak your truth or your piece. Yeah, I think we covered my songs and my background coming here and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, I will say a little plug. I do have a new song coming out in 3 days. I don't know when the podcast is going to come out. Probably after the song. Yeah, on the 23rd, I have a new song called Coy coming out. Coy?
Coy, C-O-Y.
Don't be coy.
Yes.
Coy.
Yeah, don't be coy. And it's fun. It's a different one. It's like, like electric drums. It's like it's the most lo-fi thing I've done.
Okay.
It's like, yeah. So anyway, so check that out for anyone listening.
Okay, awesome. Now I'll ask you the last question.
Sure.
What is something absurd you love or do?
Something absurd I love or do. I really am into like geography for some reason.
Like topography, like maps?
Yeah. Yeah, like I really, there's this game on the computer called GeoGuessr. I'm always like playing that game. It kind of like puts you in a random spot in the world and you have to guess where you are. So like I feel like I've kind of like crafted that skill a little bit where I feel like I know a little bit about like what part of the world looks like just from being like obsessed with that game and being obsessed with geography in general. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird, I guess, thing that I'm into.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How would you say that's affected how you in places that you lived?
Definitely puts perspective on where you live and stuff like that. I think partially maybe why I like geography so much was from going on tour and stuff and seeing like how like just in this country like you drive 15 hours out west or maybe 20 or so, you're all of a sudden you're in a desert. It's like cool seeing how different little parts of the world have very different like climates. It's like out California you're in like a Mediterranean sort of climate, in the south part of California. Then in Florida you're in like a tropical part of the country. And then like when you're in Nevada you're in the desert. But then when you're here you're in like the forest.
Right.
It's so I feel like that's been interesting.
That is
me.
interesting.
I don't know.
That is cool. Geography. My brother loves maps, so.
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
That's
he
cool.
collects old maps.
I feel like I would get into that.
Find like old pirate maps, and
Oh, dude.
old world maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you get into that.
Alright, so what kind of YouTube videos do you like to watch?
Well, going back to the last question, I really like geography. So there's this guy named GeoWizard. And he does this challenge where he finds a country and he walks in that country in a completely straight line.
Wow.
And that kind of content for me is just like pure gold.
Wow. So what if there's a house in the way?
He would just like, well, he gives himself a tolerance of like, okay, if he goes like, 10 yards to the right or left, it's still considered like a platinum run, and then he'll have like grades of like how good the straight line mission was. Wow. But like, yeah, if there's a house, he would just like, kind of walk by the house, but he would still have to get through like someone's like yard. And this is out, and he's an English YouTuber, so it's like out in England. He's done like Wales, Norway, and Scotland, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very interesting content. What is it called again?
His YouTube page is GeoWizard.
And he just like picks a region and is like, I'm gonna walk straight line for how many miles?
I mean, like he usually does very narrow countries. Like Norway is pretty narrow, and then like like Wales is a very narrow, like narrow country. So he'll just find like one of those countries that is walkable, and then he'll find the most that he would do like, I'm assuming, a lot of research into like where is the exact spot, in terms of the I guess it would be the longitude. That line, like try to find
the latitude
or the latitude.
Longitude.
Oh yeah, latitude. Sorry. So you just try to find that perfect little spot where there's the least amount of houses and the least amount of mountains and stuff, and like try to go in a straight line.
For how long?
I mean, I think Norway. It's probably like, I would assume like 40, 50 miles. He would also try to find like the narrowest spot to make it doable. But it would be like a whole week where he would have to, like he would do it over like, anywhere from like 3 days to like a week.
Did he camp along the route?
Yeah, he would camp along the route. He'd have like a big book bag and stuff like that, or a backpack.
Okay.
Yeah, so check that out.
Nice.
For sure.
Cool, dude. Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was incredible. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.